really we're only dealing with people that say, hey, I just want this home or I want a new home. There's not a lot of investors pushing the market as well. So, or even young kids that are able to get out. It's not as glamorous anymore. This pig's lipstick is starting to wear off. So
It's definitely not as glamorous. All the big investing gurus and companies seem to be. It's a lot harder.
They're getting a lot more quiet. You're not hearing, you just get $1 billion, then double it, type of thing.
Yeah. All right, guys. So we're live on Instagram. This is our monthly market update. Just going over November numbers. So, and if you guys have questions on Instagram, feel free to drop them in there. We'll ask them live on the show. We'd love some interaction there. That'd be fun. So, okay. Well, welcome to the Buff Show. Today we're doing a monthly market update for November, reviewing numbers in November, but today is December 15th. So 15 more days till the end of the year. How we feeling?
16,
that's right.
16 more days. Good though. Good.
Busiest end of year I've ever had.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've been kind of all over the place.
Yep. Usually you start coasting into winter, people are starting to close up shop, but this year we've been slinging it pretty hard.
Yeah, it has been a busy December.
Kind of,
A lot happening.
Yeah.
Maybe because it doesn't feel like it's December because it's still 50 degrees and raining.
It's wonderful.
And, because we're working, Kate wouldn't understand that.
How many are you closing this month?
Okay. Well, let's jump into it. So we're going to go over new listings. I'll start off with that. So new listings, we saw a 0.1% change from November of last year to November of this year. Negative 0.1%. So not much changing on that front as far as what's coming and going. I would say we are down overall generally, like looking back into 2020, 2021, there's just less homes, it seems like. Actually,
I was going to say, I don't know what numbers you're looking at.
We're up. We're up.
Yeah.
So up from, I guess, 2020,
But if
things
you're
were...
trying to compare to something, like go back to like 08, 9, 10, like we're down.
Yeah.
From as far as new listings go.
It is crazy looking at this chart, though, the seasonality of like the spikes, how much more new listings will start popping up. Because we probably have one more month where it really drops, December, and then it'll start like creeping up as we go into next year.
One thing I point out is even if you go back to 2020, the market trends stay the same. Even when rates were low, the market was hot then.
Yeah.
Like the market trends stay the same.
Yeah. And like I have a few buyers looking right now, and one of them texted me and they're like, man, not much for new inventory. I'm like, no, it's going to be a little bit slower here until we start going into next year.
Yeah,
so.
and end of February, you'll start seeing it uptick.
Yeah.
Okay, pending sales from last November to this November, we are down 6.5%. So we're down from 2,788 this year, and we had 2,982 last year. So basically, count of sales, which an offer has been accepted, we are down, which kind of tracks with everything going on, and we're slowing down. But year over year, November to November, shows we're a little bit slower than last year. Nothing too surprising.
No, it looks like looking back to, like, if we were to go back to where we were about this market today, it's like between 2015 and 18 is kind of when we had this
same amount of sales.
The same amount of pending sales.
Next, we'll talk about closed sales. This is a count of the actual sales that closed in a given month. So we are down 10.8% from November of last year to November of this year. Again, kind of the same story we've been talking about. So
10.8% is kind of a big drop.
Yeah,
though.
that's a big.
That's one of the biggest drops we've had
this year.
Is the biggest.
Isn't that weird how like the real estate market is a massive ship and it'll have these huge swings. Like I feel like it would be more be more likely to have less swings like that. Like, oh, from last year to this year, we're going to have 10% less closings. Like that's a huge,
Well, I think
that's a huge drop.
Yeah, you get your seasonal swings, but year over year, that is a big drop.
Especially with our population still growing, to have that big of a drop on
So would
closed
you
sales.
relate that more to the how unaffordable? How would you?
Yeah,
Would
probably
you
just,
guys
yeah.
relate that to then?
Just affordability.
But do you think we're that much more unaffordable now than we were last year? I mean, we'll get there, but
I think what it is just the world is pressuring everybody right now. Everything, the fear mongering you see on Instagram.
everybody's
just
sitting tight,
yeah.
hoping for a big crash. You think maybe,
or anything, just in general.
Seems like there's a pretty good standoff. People with those low rates not wanting to move. Like the last time, like just looking back, 2019 was a similar year in 2017 as far as closed sales, comparing this time of the year. So
I think a lot of it has to do with we go through these periods, right? Like interest rates went low and everybody was on the socials talking about get rich, real estate, do this, do that. Well, now that's not really feasible for, a common guy that's having to get a loan and different things like that. So the spotlight isn't on everyone trying to flip and move houses. Really, we're only dealing with people that say, hey, I just want this home or I want a new home. There's not a lot of investors pushing the market as well. So, or even young kids that are able to get out. It's not as glamorous anymore. This pig's lipstick is starting to wear off. So
it's definitely not as glamorous. All the big investing gurus and companies seem to be. It's a lot harder.
They're getting a lot more quiet. You're not hearing, you just get $1 billion, then double it, type of thing.
Yeah. Okay, days on market until sell. So this is the average number of days between when a property is listed and when an offer is accepted in a given month. And then keep in mind that a typical contract is anywhere from 2 weeks to 45 to 60 days. Average is about 30 days. So we're currently at 70 days on market on average, which is one of the highest ones we've seen for a while. Last year we were at 62, so it's a 12.9% increase on days on market. That number just seems to continue to go up. In fact, this whole year, as we look back a year, we've only had increases, double-digit increases, really, for most of the months.
For time on market.
Yeah, why is that? Thoughts on that?
I think just like I think the market's kind of frozen right now. I think, like you said earlier, people have 3% rates. They don't want to get out of that rate to get a 7% rate, 6.5% rate. And so it just doesn't make sense for them to make that jump. And so people are holding on to their homes longer than they may normally would have. And then you have how expensive it is as well. So you have low inventory, which you would think would actually make your days on market less. I would think, but then you have people who can't afford or it's not really affordable. So you have less people who have the money moving homes.
Yeah.
And I like to translate this days on market for our sellers as days until realization. I have a lot of sellers that they know what their house is worth and they're going to get that. And the only way you can negotiate or talk with them and bring them to reality is, all right, well, let's let the market tell us, if you're right on your valuation. And usually it takes a month or two of good showings, interested buyers, a couple offers that come in way too low, and then have them go, wow, we're getting a lot of exposure, but nobody's moving on this. And there's really one indication of why they're overpriced.
Price too high.
So I think people after that 2 month, 60-day period are kind of going, well, let's start dropping and getting to where the market is.
And after you do that, then you start seeing more and more activity as you get more flexible on your pricing. But yeah, it is. The market is the ultimate teller on where things are
Value
at.
is, yep.
Yeah. Looking back here, it's like last time we were about this many days on market was like in between 2016 and 17, it seems like. 2020 kind of creeped up there and then it dropped. I think that was
Right.
right as COVID was coming out.
Yep.
And then that spring, it just
Which
shot off.
I do want to point out, you guys, we're talking like, oh man, these are crazy high days and stuff.
These are pretty normal.
These are actually very average numbers, minus our 3 to 4 year period. 2020 to about 2022, halfway through 2022. Other than that, we've been fairly close to this. Maybe a touch lighter, but we've also been way longer on the market. From, from 2008 to 2016, we were higher,
Yeah, like
I
quite a
mean,
bit higher,
quite a bit
double.
higher than days on market.
But
So,
even going back to 06, 07, like you're not that far behind either. You're still 55, 60 days on market.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is a pretty healthy, normal
Stable
days
spot.
on market.
Yeah.
correct.
As far as like average and long term of what
Yeah.
Your largest purchase you ever make, it should take some time to consider, go through, investigate. So we're not in that pressured era right now.
Right.
All right, going on to median sales price. So median is we take all the sales, line them up in a line, and we start knocking off the highest to the lowest until we get to the middle. And right now, in November 2025, that is $521,800. That is an price increase from last year by about 4%. So we're about $21,000 higher than November of last year. So, which this is the one that kind of, we're slowing down days on market. We're not getting as many closed sales. We're not getting as many pending sales, but our prices are rising,
It's bizarre.
right?
Yeah.
So
Well, and if you look at the graph, like the peak was in 2022, that spring, and then it dropped as they lowered or raised interest rates, prices dropped. And then the bottom of the market, as far as median sales price, was like winter of 2022. And then we've been slowly climbing out of that, climbing out of it since then. And we're not too far off from the peak of 2022.
no, we're really not. We're about halfway back from the highest sales in history in Utah.
Which is weird. And then we'll look at the average, and it just tells a totally different story.
So the average sales price here, so you take all the sales in a given month, add them all up, divide it by the number of sales. So we are up 12.8%. So this year, 716,000 versus last year 635,000. So we're up 12% this year on average, and then on median we were up 4%. We've had this discussion in the past on which one's
More accurate.
the more accurate number or tells the more true story on how much the market has appreciated, and I think it's somewhere in between.
I think that's what the conclusion we came to is. It's not which one tells the more true, the accurate story. It's they're telling two different stories.
Sure.
Well, and the peak on the average sales price for the state of Utah was like 670,000. We're at 716 right now.
Yeah.
Like we're way higher than we were back in 2022.
Right.
Which tracks you're getting a lot more very high end neighborhoods coming in, a lot more money, a lot more cuckoo crazy house sales. $10, $20 million house sales, which I think skews this.
Which is interesting. Why are we getting more $1 million plus sales?
I mean, have you lived in Utah?
Well, I know.
Beautiful.
Well,
Well,
but I
right,
think
but why,
interest
though?
rates are what's affecting the average buyer the most. Anywhere from 200,000 to 800-900
Mhm.
or more, right? But
Well,
2, 3, 4, 5 million plus, most of the time that stuff's cash.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. And so interest rates aren't affecting that buyer as much. And so that stuff's maybe it's not slowing down as much as everything else did.
Right. And here's a fun stat. In a rolling 12 months, so basically last year to this year, we are up 25% in $1.5 million and above house price sales. So just in that rolling 12, we're obviously, which is basically all of 25 minus 1 month, we have 25% more multi-million-dollar
Right.
sales. I think a lot of it is here's my speculation, right? You see our population in Utah, for the most part, has been a pretty spread out. Even in a subdivision, you had plenty of room. You could breathe. Traffic wasn't bad. In the last 5-10 years, the amount of growth that we've had in our rural, not our rural areas, our suburban type areas is vastly grown, which has pushed the demand for your higher end areas. Your back, the Wasatch back, where you still have that seclusion, that privacy. the growth has literally raised the value of the secluded
Sure.
just because of your normal stuff, traffic, infrastructure going in. You know, people are getting pushed to these smaller areas that they want seclusion, and now they're willing to pay even more for it. So
Yeah,
I think
good
that's
point.
what's driving the prices higher.
It's crazy. I think one thought I have too is I think the cost to build, like a lot of people, well, one way you can determine the value of a property is the replacement cost. And a lot of these homes that maybe were built pre 2020, like the cost to build, the lots were cheaper, the labor costs were cheaper, the supply and
Materials.
demand or the materials were cheaper. And it was just cheaper to build all around. It seems like when we went through all the COVID stuff and there was issues with getting materials here, labor shortages, all the things there. And it seems like once somebody raised their prices, it's not like they're just going to drop them.
It's like taxes,
hard to
baby.
bring it back.
They don't give them back.
Well, and then now we have all the tariffs like today. So like just to do a simple project, like it seems like to remodel a bathroom today or do a little kitchen remodel or something like that is what it used to cost to do like an entire basement. You know?
Yeah.
I mean,
Sure.
you're to build very low end spec build. You're $220, $230 a square foot,
Yeah.
100%.
and that's
That used to be a really
drastically
nice house.
higher
That used to be a really nice
than a home
house.
6 years ago.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, and I have done little updates and things on my house, and
Did you pull a
it's,
permit?
it's
Just say yes.
it's crazy how much more expensive it is. Like you go to Home Depot and it's like $300-$400, and you're like, I didn't even buy.
It's like
When you
getting this
started,
at Home Depot.
when you started
grocery store.
your electrical company, how much did it roll
A
over?
roll of wire, I think 14.2. That's just your basic outlet wire, convenience outlet wire, was $17.
Now, I think a roll
56?
is
That's
or
crazy.
more
Or more.
or more.
That's if you're
So
buying
it's
a pallet
double,
of
it's
them.
doubled or tripled,
More,
Quadrupled.
yeah.
quadrupled.
I remember a time when 12-2, a little
up
bit
to
heavy. It was
$250.
$250 for like you're a dollar a
that's-
foot,
that's
which is
bizarre.
insane. So
So I feel like that's one reason. Like people are probably looking like, hey, I want to get into these areas. I want to do. I want to be in these areas that cost more. And when they look at like I can either build or buy existing, it's penciling out way more affordable to buy existing because those sellers and owners that are selling these properties, their gains are
Exuberant that they can give a little bit of a discount and
Oh,
still
for
make
sure.
$500,000 or
yeah,
more.
yeah. It'll be
See-
interesting. You fast forward like 3 to 5 years once all those properties have kind of rinsed out and cycled out, what the new prices will be.
but I also, if that's, yes, I agree 100%. If you're buying the lot and building custom,
Yeah,
if you go buy, in my opinion, I think you're almost cheaper depending on, but if you go and buy with a mass builder as well, right? Because
agree with that.
just like you had mentioned, most of the time these builders have owned this land for
yeah,
who knows how long, right? Just waiting to develop it or getting the permits in the process.
Yeah.
But they probably got that land
Oh,
in bulk for who
Yeah.
knows how much.
yeah.
And so, like you said, there's so much.
When the market's slower right now, the problem is some of the areas that people like the mass builder spec home.
It's not
type-
back on the Wasatch back and stuff.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
rarely.
But yeah, if you're looking along the front, there are some great options for getting into some of those neighborhoods at really good prices right
Right.
now. I think that's a huge opportunity for people, and a lot of those builders they're buying down rates. Like they're offering some pretty crazy stuff.
They've built a machine and they can't just afford to
Not
freeze
run it.
with the market. So
Right.
They
they're
have to
doing
move
everything they
inventory.
do to move inventory, and right now the consumer on that lower to median end home is doing okay.
Yeah. And I would tell you, like, even though they have a set price or whatever, negotiate it. It's always there.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, for sure. But going back to the average, it is just crazy looking back. Like if we went back to like let's just say 2020, like start of 2020, we were
just over.
400 grand. 400 grand. And so in a matter of 5-6 years, we are up 316 grand.
Pocket change. A townhome's 400 grand nowadays if you're lucky.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I mean, just in 2020 alone, that was like our biggest jump year, but we started at 400.
But what if-
the
what if
median
we-
went up, or
we're
the
kinda
average
taking-
went up to,
A tangent here, but what if you go back to the median sales? So 2020 we were just 325, 330, and now we're up to 520. So you're up 200,000 there on the median.
yeah, very
So
similar.
people who have owned a home since 2020 to now probably have anywhere from $200,000 to $250,000 of equity, roughly, depending on the area. But
It's crazy.
yeah, it's a lot. That's a lot.
Interesting. All right. My turn.
Yep.
Percentage of original list price received. So this is found when dividing a property sales price by its original list price and taking the average for all the properties sold in a given month, not accounting for seller concessions, which almost every deal has some type of seller concessions. That's when sellers are paying for buyers' closing costs. Sellers are currently getting 95.6% of their list price, which is down 0.6% from last year. So a little bit more negotiating and things happening on the seller side. But if you were to add in there another % or two for buyer paid closing costs, you're really probably 94, 93% of list price, which is actually quite a bit.
Yes.
But that's better than like 2009, 2011 when we were in the 88, 89% of list price. So
You're going to the negotiation table with a machete,
yeah.
taking
Yeah.
a pound of flesh,
Now it's not. I mean, they're negotiating, but it could be worse.
which I think is good. A healthy amount of negotiation is fun, right?
Yeah, keeps it exciting.
Keeps it exciting, gets the blood pumping a little bit, makes everyone. It leaves everyone feeling screwed out of the deal, so it's all fair.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Everybody feels
You've done a
taken
good
advantage
yeah.
of a
You know
little
you've
bit.
done a good negotiation if everyone walks away mad.
Yeah.
and it still closes. Yeah. If one person walks away happy, then somebody got screwed.
Yeah.
If everyone's mad, it was a pretty fair negotiation.
Oh, that's funny. That's true though.
Okay, the Housing Affordability Index. I'm going to read you the definition, and then I'm going to give you my layman's term definition. This index measures the housing affordability for the region. For example, an index of 120 means the median household income is 120% of what is necessary to qualify for the median priced home under prevailing interest rates. A higher number means greater affordability. So basically, we're taking the median household income, whatever it is in Utah, and we're taking the median household price for a home, and we're saying at 100, these two mean they're affordable. Anything above 100, more affordable. Anything below 100, less affordable. Oh man, I'm getting good at that. Getting good at that.
We
So,
should go live every time on
right.
Instagram.
Put the pressure on you.
So November 2025, from last year, we have a 0% change. Stuff is just unaffordable. It's at
Yeah.
a 75. So you have to make 25% more than the median household income in Utah, or 25 points, not percent, more to be able to afford a median household in Utah. So you got to make 125% of what the median household income is in order to consider it affordable to buy a median household priced home. That makes sense? Mm-hmm. So let's.
So
we should.
we talked about. Yeah, are you going?
So the
back?
median household income is $521,800. Got that one. So you have to make the median household
25% more.
Not more than that. 25% more to afford a $500,000 house.
Right.
And the median household income is what in Utah? Where's someone's phone? 68,000 or something right now.
Is it? I feel like it's more than that.
I feel like you're probably 80.
Either way, and the crazy thing is, this is saying household.
Yes.
Yes, this is
That,
husband
like,
and wife.
I wonder what
you know.
time they started like doing husband and wife, because it's been more recent that it's like, hey, both couples are going to work, versus you go back 15, 20 years and that was less.
You know what? And
Less
I
common.
take my hat off to single household incomes because they are either making some damn good money or they've got their budgets just so dialed in. But I applaud you if you can do it on a single household income.
Yeah, it's
So median household income in Utah is 96,700.
Wow.
And
You were way
so
off.
to afford a median priced home, you have to make $120,000.
So
which seems about right. And that's just for the median price home.
yeah, for a $500,000 home, you got to make 120 G a year in the household.
In the household. Yep.
Man, I'm
So-
going to call Shaylee and tell her to step her shiz up.
So it's interesting because right before we hopped onto this, we're like, what's the market doing? And Cade pulls up one reel about, oh, the market's great and there's all this equity and stuff like that.
I don't know if it
I
said
saw
that, but it just said we're
Well, it,
not predicting a big market crash
yeah,
was the biggest thing.
It was saying it's strong. There's so much equity, which I think we can just see. I mean, you look at the rise and how much equity has been
built into the market.
built into the market.
Yeah.
Just since 2020, like prices have doubled
Sure.
in the past 5 years. And so anybody that's owned a house has like ridden that wave and they're like, holy cow, we got a ton of equity. I was talking to a builder friend of mine last week and he's like, it's rare I have clients getting construction loans right now. They're just paying cash. And maybe that's why there's a lot more of these 1.5 plus sales because people are selling properties, rolling that into another property. Like there has been kind of this wave of real estate wealth, and that was all the hype, I think, back then. But then we saw another guy saying how expect the market to crash in 2026 because housing affordability is so low. So it's like, where does it fall?
Right.
You know, because I see both sides. I see it being super unaffordable for somebody just trying to get into a house right now. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's really tough. But for anybody that owns a house and
You're
has
sitting
owned
pretty
one
good.
for a while or has a 3% interest rate, like there's a ton of people with payments, house payments, less than like $2,000 a month, which anybody trying to buy a house right now for less than $2,000 a month.
Good luck.
And yeah, unless you have a ton of money to put down, good luck. But there's a lot of people sitting on these low mortgage payments. They got into a good time, and it's just like it's a stall. Thoughts on that?
I just don't see that bringing a big. I mean, I could be totally wrong, but I don't see that bringing a big market crash. I feel like it's we've been in that stall for 2-3 years now, since 2022, 2023, really 23 probably. But I feel like we've kind of been in that lull or that stall where things are kind of frozen. But I don't feel like that's going to bring. All of a sudden 2026 is going to change a whole bunch and we're going to have this massive market bubble
I
burst.
thought for sure we were heading into a market crash when they started jumping interest rates up like crazy in 2022. And
I think the biggest
it
thing
slowed it. But like now and we did see a crash, like prices did drop, but it's, I mean, we've just been climbing year over year ever since then. So
but our inventory is still down. Our inventory is still down. And we've talked about in the past, which I haven't really ever really considered too much of, but our population has grown a ton in Utah.
yeah,
You know, if you look at that, we're half of where we were in 08.
yeah. Well, let's cover that. You got that next.
I do. So inventory of homes for sale, the number of properties available for sale in active status at the end of a given month. So from November of 2023 to November of 2024 to November of 2025, we're up 13.5%. So we're right about 14, almost 15,000 active listings.
So that's roughly 1,800 more homes, give or take.
Yes,
From last year.
from the previous year.
You know what's crazy looking at this chart? Like 2006, 2007, we were at 15,000, like right around there.
And then from
And then-
6 to 8, it shot up
And then
almost
it shot
15
up.
grand,
It
doubled.
shot up a ton. And then 2015, we were at that same mark, and then it started trending downwards. So we're kind of at this.
Well, and that's
We're at
Like
this.
we're at are we
it
gonna
gonna go?
rock it up in inventory and have a crash, or are we gonna start?
But how many more people live in Utah now than back in 2006, 7, or even 15? Right.
Well,
that's what I think this isn't telling
Yeah.
too.
And don't quote me on this, but I think Utah has doubled its inventory in the last 10 years, or doubled its population.
I
Yeah.
believe that, right? You have so many people moving here from out of state, and you
Yeah.
add that into
Where else
the
are they gonna move
equation.
from?
Out of the country, different country. But you add that into this equation where 15,000 in 2025 is not the same as 15,000 in 2008.
Right. I'd agree with that.
You know, like really maybe
Yeah.
15,000 in 2008 could equal 25,000 now.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean,
Yeah.
this is just
Yeah, we could.
speculation, but
Our numbers. We're just looking at the numbers. We're not taking in the other factors of.
right,
Yeah, I see that.
right.
We that sounds scary, but really it is pretty average.
We're probably
considering.
still pretty low, which is
On
what
inventory.
I think is why the market's doing what it's doing.
All right, month supply of inventory. So the number of homes for sale at the end of a given month divided by the average monthly pending sales from the last 12 months. So currently we're sitting at 4.2 months supply of inventory. Last year we were at 3.7, so we've increased 13.5%. We kind of run with anything under 6 months supply is a seller's market. Anything over 6 months supply is a buyer's market. So for the state of Utah, I would say it based on this, we're more of a seller's market. Sellers still are kind of controlling the narrative. However, I liked what you said last time, where you're like, it's nobody's market right now.
Yeah,
Which
I think closer to 6 on either end of the spectrum.
It just depends on
it's
who
a
wants
scale.
it. Who wants it the least?
Yeah,
Whoever wants it the most loses right now.
yeah.
If you're
'Cause
looking
there's-
at like a negotiation standpoint, if a buyer wants the house more than the sellers want to sell, then they're probably going to pay more to get it. If
have
the
more
sellers, if the sellers want to sell the house more than the buyer wants it, they're going to be more flexible in pricing and stuff.
And I think that will remain true no matter what the market is. That just gives leverage to one
Yeah.
or the other. But right now, I have done deals where my buyer is getting 20, 30 grand off of list price. But I've also done deals where
They won't budge.
we're like 100% asking, and
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah, they'll kill the deal over a mini fridge or something like that.
Yes. And so it really just depends on the home. So
Well, that's the numbers for the state. What are we seeing interest rates like in the other areas within the market right now?
rates.
I'm not sure what you just asked right there.
Like what are we seeing with interest rates and in other
All right,
areas?
what's the lowest interest you guys have gotten on a loan?
I just got one that closed last month, towards the end of last month, at a 5.5, and that was an investor.
No
Did you
way.
have to buy it down pretty good, or you didn't have to buy it down? Wow.
Nope.
That's
Brought
impressive.
in 150,000 cash, but got a 5.5 with no closing costs going towards a rate.
Wow.
Don't know how. I mean, I was shocked. when
I
saw it, so.
think, and I've kind of noticed that with the lenders right now, when you can buy a rate down, it's a lot cheaper than it was a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if the lender feels that the rates are going to trend up, a rate buy down gets expensive. If the lenders feel the rates are going to go down, that rate buy down gets cheap because they're trying to get any bit of money
They're
out of
feeling
you.
like it's gonna. Yeah.
You know, because you could wait a month and maybe get it next month.
Right.
So
What have you been seeing?
we just had one at 575. Kind of same idea.
I feel like that's going to be a closer to where you're going to
Yeah.
normally be. High fives, low
Sixes. Yeah. It seems like all mine recently have been right around the sixes.
Yeah. I feel like that's what
I here's my market prediction, my guess for the future. I bet by January, February, you're going to see 5.5s to the high fives
Really?
as a constant. Now, once the market starts picking up again, I don't know if mortgage rates will respond and
Try and stall that
collect
out
a little bit. Yeah.
But
But
do you think spring's going to be a pretty big boom, or do you think it's going to be pretty mellow? Because all I'm hearing is one or the other. It's going to next
Yeah,
year is going to
it's-
tank. It's going to crash,
Or
or
it's gonna
next
boom.
year is going to be the greatest year.
I mean, based on a lot of the numbers and how flat it's been,
I feel like it's going
it could be either one.
I feel like it's going to stay pretty.
I say the same.
If rates come down, like you're saying, and rates get to mid fives, high fives is a pretty normal. That's gonna stir the market up. I don't think it's gonna be a massive jump by any means. But I do think that things are gonna get more expensive. Just one, I think things are gonna pick up anyways, just because it's spring. One, but
Right.
Two, if rates are down as well, that's gonna boost it more.
Well, I think it's hard to tell, what the market's doing when you talk about seasons, because we've had good and bad markets over the last, 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
We have a 20-year graph here, and you see every single spring to midsummer,
the
we
same
rocket up and sell. So everybody's going like this, going, oh, warm fuzzies, we're making sells. The market's good, but is it? Or is it just our normal trend as we're plummeting into the abyss? Or are we trending,
Yeah.
And I think that's going to go along with, I think how you determine that in volume of sales is price points. If you see when you get on and you get listed, if you're getting multiple offers and you're raising and you're getting over asking, I think it's going to get messy and get fast
Yeah.
and hot and heavy. If you continue to have what we're having right now, a good 5 to 6% negotiation, I think we're going to flatline just like a dead heartbeat, just
Well, and
all
there's
spring long.
they have rates will likely come down.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know when this 50-year mortgage is going to come into effect.
From what I hear, they decided to trash it.
Killed it.
Yeah.
Did they trash
I
it?
think they've killed it, and I don't think I haven't heard anything else about the portable mortgage either. So I don't really know if they're doing that either.
That would be interesting. I thought that was rolling out sometime in next year.
No, I think
But if
they've
that's
killed it.
killed, then we don't have to worry about that.
Portable mortgage, though, there's a little stir about that. Another podcast for another day. But
Yeah.
start Googling that, everybody.
Here's my question for everybody that's bought a house within the past, say, 3 years, and you have a higher interest rate. Like I have one at like 7.25 currently.
You're getting close to time to refinance.
I know. When is that time though?
So
when
I've
would
been
you?
told, and I don't know. I mean, I think everything's obviously it's all personal, but a good time to look and to start considering is if your interest rate that you currently have versus the rate that you could get is at least a minimum 1%.
That's what I've heard. Yeah,
And I don't know why. I don't know if that's because it helps offset the costs of what it would cost to
I think
refinance
so.
is
And it
probably
makes,
the biggest
makes
thing
a big enough difference in your payments and everything
to
like
make
that.
it worth it.
I think that's a good rule of thumb, but I think it 100% comes down to just the raw math. You can call your lender at any time, and I implore you to, hey, here's how much I'm paying now. Here's how much, what would we be paying? Here's how long we're thinking we're going to stay in the house. There's so many factors for everybody.
Yep.
But I kind of run on that same, hey, if you have a 1% change, then it's not just, oh, maybe you 100% need to call your
You
lender
should
and see if
you
it's
should be
worth it.
looking into it. Absolutely. Yeah.
Here's another thing that people should be looking into. Anybody that didn't put 20% down that's paying PMI on
Yes.
their mortgage, you should be looking into
Yes.
what your equity is into the property, because if you can prove you have at least 20% equity, you can get lenders to remove that.
So
early,
call your local real estate buff
right?
and have them do
Yeah.
a CMA for you,
Yeah.
see what you're looking at.
Because they'll remove it by a certain date, but typically they're way
That's like 7 years out or something
Yeah,
like that. Like
it-
it's a ways out. But if
Yeah.
you're like you said, if you've owned a home, if you bought in 2020, it's gone. Like you
Right.
can get rid
Yeah.
of it now
yeah
for sure.
yeah.
So, but yeah, call your agent. Figure
Yeah.
out
You
if
see-
have them do a
You see who we pointed at?
Call Ben.
everybody.
Oh,
then tell
and-
us what he got you.
Any last minute words of advice you guys want to leave the listeners as we head into a new year? It's the last market update for 2025.
The only thing I want to leave with people is stay off the internet. Enjoy your time soaking into the Instagrams and stuff, but
Instagram.
it's a lot of fear mongering. Just
There
do
is.
your own math, pull your head into reality.
Honestly, talk with people talk with real estate agents, talk with lenders, talk with people who are involved in the market on a regular, everyday basis. Don't listen to mom and dad all the time. They're great, but talk with people who are involved in the market. Ask them questions. It's never too early to start, talking about it.
I love it. Matthew, did we get any comments in there?
Yeah, is the Instagram even looking at us?
Or did it turn off?
No, we're still going.
Are we?
No, we didn't get any comments.
A lot of
Just a bunch of people in and out. No one here right now.
There's no one even here right now. So wait, do these record? Can people go back and watch these on Instagram?
yeah,
they
you
can.
can post it if you wanted.
All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in.
Nobody.
Have a happy New Year.
Merry Christmas.
Jinx, when do the stop?
You said stop on your own.
You owe me a soda.